This is Jim Gibson. Thank you for joining me today on my channel. Really appreciate it. Today I want to talk to you about this great opportunity in business. There's a friend of mine, he owns a small business. He does fantastic. I mean, this is the most profitable small business that I have actually run into in many, many years. And if you're following me on my channel, Entrepreneurs with Trucks, then you understand that I deal with businesses. And some of the businesses I deal with are IT, is also real estate. And the reason I do real estate is because after being in IT for 35 years, I pretty much invested in real estate and took my extra cash, bought buildings, things like that. A lot of passive income, and I like passive income. Now, this is not a passive income opportunity here. This is an active income opportunity. But it does have the ability to generate large sums of money. Honestly, it's not trying to do clickbait here. It's real, and not only large sums of money, but also if you get these sums of money, then of course my way of doing it is investing in real estate. Other people invest in the stock market. I don't like the stock market, so I don't invest it. I don't want to spend that amount of time keeping following it every single day or things like that. Not a stock market person, but I am a real estate person. I love investing my extra resources into real estate. I'm always looking for buildings and places that I can rent out to other people. But he had a great business opportunity. Now, he's not a college student, okay? He did not graduate from college, didn't even go to college, which is absolutely fine. But he's smart, really smart. I like the guy. And I decided I would just tag along with him for a week at a time. I think I was more of an annoyance than help to him. But he was a great guy, and he allowed me to tag along and see all the secret sauce that he was producing. Now, he was a home entertainment installer. And what he would install would be TVs, surround sounds, cameras outside the building, things like that. But he had a secret. He had a way of doing business that was different than other people I have seen. I'm sure other people do it, but I'm talking about others that I have seen. And I'm going to talk to you about what that secret is at the end of the video. And again, of course, I'm at that point in the video where I ask you, please, if you find this information valuable, then please subscribe and give me a thumbs up and comments. If you disagree with me, fantastic. Please disagree with me. If you agree with me and you got additional ideas on this subject, then please message me on it. And I would love to see what other people are doing. So I tagged along with my friend for I would say a week. And I bet you I could have done a lot more, a lot longer, and learned a lot more from him. But he was dealing with home entertainment, audio, video, and cameras. And as he was doing this home entertainment thing, he was talking to his customers. He had a lot of loyal customers and things like that. And he's doing very well when it comes to finances. So what he would do is he would talk to a customer and come to an agreement on a particular TV. Now, he had special TVs. These aren't the TVs that you find at Costco. These are special TVs, special design, had a lot of features. They had a lot of unique equipment attached to these TVs. Some of them were quite large, obviously, and others where you would normally buy from Costco, but they were all specialized TV. He had a specialized supplier, that dealt with these type of TVs and surround sounds and speakers and everything else. And he had obviously a relationship with that company where he can go in and he could pick up what he wanted. He'd pre-order, pick up what he wanted, put it in his van, and take off. So he would go out to a job site and he would do basic things. He would hang the TV on the wall. Actually, he had two helpers, and they were part-timers, and they would come out and help him lift the TV up, and they would, put it on the wall. It's just the normal stuff that you see, where people would just put things on the wall, or TVs on the wall. And so, he would do that, and he'd put in the surround sound, the speakers in the ceilings and in, different areas of the room and things like that. Then he would educate his customers on how to do certain things with the remote, how to get the benefits from the TV. He really knew his products. Maybe that's one of the secrets, is that he really knew his customers and he really knew his products. And so he would mount these things, home entertainment, big systems. I mean, these were $5,000-$10,000 systems that he was putting in. It was just fantastic. Now, there was something that I thought he was missing when it came to his opportunities there with the businesses, with these customers, these homeowners and things like that. And what he was missing was the opportunity to put in a IT system. Now, I'm an IT guy, okay? So I always talk about IT and IT systems and things like that. So I'm going to be talking about IT systems here. People now, obviously, for the last 10 years, 15, 20 years, they go home, they have their laptop, they have to do work, the kids have to get online to talk to their teacher or to do homework or things like that. But what things that used to happen like 10 or 15 years ago was that these home systems were always plugged in, or they had one particular Wi-Fi router somewhere in the house. Now, the houses I was with my friend in were massive. Now, my house is 3,000 square feet and it's 3 stories high. It's a townhouse, so it's 3 stories high. And when I first got into the house, I put in 2 Wi-Fi systems, one on the 3rd floor, one on the 1st floor. And I would connect to those any time I needed. But there's a better system out there, and that's a mesh system. So you have, now what is a mesh system? Well, what I like about it is I have one router, and it's a little round router. It's about this big, and it's actually on my 1st floor, and it is wired into the system. So I have an outlet on the ground, and I plug my mesh system in, my mesh router. Then I have satellite systems all throughout the house. Now the satellite systems talk to each other, and so a couple of them maybe have to talk to each other. If I'm on the 3rd floor, I talk to the 3rd floor system that talks to the 2nd floor system that talks to the router on the 1st floor. And that's the way it works. They communicate with each other. It's really nice because I can take my laptop up to the 3rd floor, and when I'm on my way up to the 3rd floor, it's all within the same network. And there's no missing a network. It's all within the same signal. Even though there's 5 or 6 in my house that are all pushed all over the place. But this mesh system really works well for me. When I walk in the house, and of course it's Google, when I walk into the house, my phone connects to the Wi-Fi system. No matter where I'm at in the house, my phone communicates with the Wi-Fi system. So that's really nice. And we have other things that are connected to that Wi-Fi system. We have a thermostat. Now, the thermostat's on the 1st floor, but we have sensors, 3 or 4 sensors, all throughout the house. So I can tell what the temperature is on the 3rd floor, and I can set my thermostat to the 3rd floor. I can tell what it is in my home office. I can tell what it is in my bedroom. So I can set the thermostat to keep me at a certain temperature during the night in my bedroom. Now, it's not only attached to my sensors, the mesh system, because this is all attached together. So I'm not only doing the thermostat through this system, I'm also doing the sensors through this system. I'm also have Google through this system, and I also have my cameras. So I have multiple cameras on the outside of the house, and those cameras go through my mesh system also. So when I go and I travel somewhere, I have cameras inside that I turn on, and I can access my network from anywhere in the world. Now, my friend was not doing these things, okay, because he kind of knows routers. I don't know if he knows much about switches and things like that, but I think he was missing a great opportunity here by not having knowledge about routers and switches. Now, the thing that I think people should bring to the table on this is going to be, the home entertainment idea, the big TVs. Everyone loves the big TVs. Hey, I love the big TVs, okay? Especially since I'm getting older, and I like, the eye issues. Would be nicer, the bigger, the better. And so, a lot of people don't want to do this. Don't want to fool with the TVs. They want an expert to show it. They want an expert that's going to set up their mesh system. They want a person to handle security. They want someone to handle the cameras, install the cameras, things like that. Now, I looked up the pay for someone that just does the install, not the business owners, but the employees, and this is national. Now, in California, some other places, you may make a lot more, but nationally, the average is $62,000 a year as a technician. In other words, you're working for the business sends you out to look at, why the mesh system isn't working right, how to readjust the cameras, do something on the TV, things like that. And when I researched it also, it said it is an extremely fast-growing market, so it's really a good market to be in. It has reoccurring revenue, things like that. And if you know anything about PCs and how to manage PCs, how to set them up, how to correct them, how to look at them, how to make sure that everything is working the way it's supposed to, how to do backups and things like that, this is a great opportunity. What is it? You go to Best Buy and they have their guy that all he deals with, from what I know, is just the computers. But you can deal with the home entertainment. You can deal with the audio, the cameras, mounting TVs, home theaters, the mesh system, so the Wi-Fi system within the house, the cameras outside, inside, setting up the network. When you use these cameras, you got to sign up for a certain type of recording service that's recorded in the cloud, which is fantastic, because if your house burns down, you have pictures of, it burning down, I guess. Sorry to say that. But you do have that. So $62,000 a year is a pay scale. It's a growing market. It's reoccurring revenue. And you also, even as a business owner in this area, you have flexible hours. Now, one of the things I wanted to tell you that years ago, I used to work in homes occasionally. Now, I like commercial settings, and I like commercial buildings and stuff like that. And I found out that I had problems collecting on homes. I'd go out and I'd put a jack in a business, and I would charge, back then it was probably $50 for a jack. Lately, it's probably well in excess of $200 to get the cable down the wall, things like that. Houses are a pain because businesses have open walls. They have the metal studs, and usually there's nothing between them. Homes have wooden studs with fire breaks every so often within the stud, and it's really hard to get the wire down through the stud, into a wall jack or something like that. And people did not want to spend the money that was a fair rate for me to put a jack in. I just heard one person say, well, you're charging me so much. And he said, I could get AT&T came out here and they just put the jack in for me, and it only cost me like $20 and things like that. They're the customers you don't want. And by the way, AT&T took the wire, ran it along the baseboard, and stapled it. I was going to put it behind the wall. So to put a jack in a commercial facility is on average 1 hour and 15 minutes on average. To put it in, to test it, to label it and everything else, and punch it down to the back of a patch panel, things like that. And that's what it would take, and that was it. And yet when it comes to doing a home, it could take you hours and hours to get that cable behind the wall. And there's a unique skill to that. I remember when I first started doing commercial cabling, I worked for a company, C&R Systems, and they did a lot of homes. And the guy really knew what he was doing, and he taught me how to get cable behind the wall, how to route cable through a house without it being exposed like AT&T. I mean, if I just stapled it to the wall, I'd charge him $50 too. That's no big deal, but that's not the quality of service I wanted to offer to my customers. So at one point I decided, you know something? I'm not going to do residential anymore. It's an argument. It's hard to get paid. I don't get paid for the amount that I could for the time. I could go out and I could put in a bunch of jacks in a commercial building. I walk out the door and I'm done, and I get paid, more likely get paid. Now here's the secret. How did he get paid? He had certain types of customers. He had wealthy customers. He wouldn't work for someone that had a house that was less than $2 or $3 million. And you're in Southern California, a $2 or $3 million house is a decent house. The average house is $600,000. He doesn't work for people that have a $600,000 house, because he experienced the exact same thing I experienced, and that was they don't want to pay the higher bill, even though it takes you twice as long, 3 times as long to do the work in a home than it does in a commercial setting. And it's hard to get paid sometimes. You say, okay, I'm done, can I get paid? And they want to renegotiate. Don't want that nonsense. I just come out, I do the job, I want to get paid. And I got to charge more because it's so difficult. So I just decided, I got enough commercial work. I don't really need homes. But he taught me a lesson. He taught me a lesson because I was back then, years ago, I would take anybody to do the work. Put a jack in for my grandmom, and I would do that, and grandma wanted to give me $10 after I spent 4 hours there. Nah, that isn't going to work. I can't do that. I got a family to feed. I got bills of my own, car payments, things like that. So what he taught me was he only worked for neighborhoods where the homes were, I would say, 3 million and above. They were beautiful homes. And he'd go in and he would talk to the homeowner, and these homeowners would know him. He developed a relationship with these homeowners. They trusted him. And sometimes I would hear things like, let's go out to the pool house. And there was a little house out there where people, there was a bar in that little house, and people, for entertainment, and they had this big pool and stuff like that. And he would say, he'd look at my friend who I was just standing there being quiet next to, and he'd look at him and he'd say, look, see that wall up there? That TV is too small. I want you to take it down. I don't care what you do with it. Just get it out off the wall and get a 75, 80-inch TV or whatever it was. And he goes, I need that put up there. And my friend would say, oh, okay. And he'd write it down. And he would say, how about next Thursday I'll be by and I'll put it up. And I said to him, aren't you going to quote him how much it's going to cost? He goes, no, I'm not going to quote him. He knows I'm not going to gouge him, but he also knows I'm going to charge him a premium. And so, sure enough, a couple days later, we went to this wholesaler. We bought that special TV. And again, these TVs I never saw before, and they're not at Costco. They're really fancy TVs. He bought that, and we'd go out there, and he'd put it up on the wall, and he would charge them for something. I remember another time when the guy wanted some speakers put in and everything else, and he said, hey, I noticed you don't have any cameras, man. You need outside cameras. And the guy'd say, okay, put them in. And he'd say, walk with me. I'm going to put a camera there. I'm going to put a camera there. I'm going to put one back here and things here. And the owner would say, yeah, do it. Go ahead. Do it. And so the secret is the customers. And it's always, every business, it's always the customer. But that's not what I meant. It's the type of customer. It's the fact that these customers were very wealthy, and they didn't care whether it cost them $500 or $5,000. I'll be honest with you. My eyes were like, wow. My whole life I had to argue over over little details. And here he just says, okay, I'll put it in. Here's your invoice. 3 days later, a week later, he'd give them an invoice, and he'd walk away, and they'd pay him. And they loved him. And they'd call him back. They would say, hey, I got guests coming out this weekend. They're going to live in the house. I want you to explain to them how to use the home entertainment. And he'd say, absolutely, be there, Bob, no problem, And he'd go out, and he had the home entertainment thing, and he'd explain it to the new, not the new people, but the relatives that were visiting or using the house, because it was close to the beach and stuff like that. And he showed them how to use a home entertainment thing, and he charged them. So I don't know what he charged, because that's his business. But I know it wasn't inexpensive. So if you really want a decent business that you can start out of your home, that you can start small, maybe just get 1 or 2 customers at one point, and build slowly. You can still work your other job. I always like that. That's how I started my IT business. I worked at Burlington Air Express in the IT department. And then at night, I cabled buildings, and eventually I put in telephones and computer networks and things like that. I grew it, but I grew it slow. So I made sure I stayed in the black and there was no expenses. I didn't go out and buy a brand new truck. I just used that clunker I had already. So you can start this small, really small. You just have to be flexible, willing to go out on a weekend, willing to talk to a customer at 8 o'clock at night, things like that. It's fantastic for starting a small company. But the secret is, who are your customers? Define them. And I think you have to do that with any business. You have to define your customers. Who are going to be your customers? In this case, I'm sorry, but you really need to find customers that are wealthy for this to be profitable for you with less headaches. So again, this is Jim Gibson. Thank you for watching me today. Please give me a thumbs up if this is any valuable to you. And at the same time, not only give me a thumbs up, but please subscribe. I need subscribers. I'd very much appreciate it. And it's a great opportunity, man. I tell you. Now, I'm quasi-retired, but I would think about doing this myself even. It looked like it was so much fun. And hope you have a wonderful day. And let me know. Let me know if you do this. Let me know your success. Let me know what business you're in. Just send me a message. Let me know what's going on in these different areas. And if this type of video is of value to you. You have a great day. Bye.